YouTube. I was thinking about the first time I started smoking a pipe, which was about 12 years ago, and why people start, how people start. And there's lots of good advice, especially on YouTube, for people who are smoking pipes for the first time. And I thought I would throw my 2 cents in the ring, mainly about tobacco choice. Lots of people will tell you, and they're right, if you're going to start with a corn cob. People who've got huge pipe collections, very expensive pipes, they'll still pick up a corn cob and they'll still go and smoke it because they're great. And it's an inexpensive way to find out whether you like pipe smoking. A lot of people are put off pipe smoking right off the bat. I was originally. I started, I suppose, because my grandpa, he always smoked a pipe. He smoked a Peterson. And he smoked Gold Block. And when I decided that I like to try pipe smoking, I bought a cheap basket pipe because I didn't know any better, and I bought a pouch of Gold Block, and the entire thing was a horrible experience. About a year later, I thought I'd do it again, and this time I got a Peterson because that's what my grandpa smoked. Should have got a corn cob really first, but Peterson was a good move. I didn't understand the difference between the P system peelet pipes and the standard fishtails. If you're going to start, go with a fishtail before you go with something like a system pipe. They are nice. Some people hate them, but I quite like system pipes. And I ended up doing what most people do, which was buy some aromatic tobacco. I think it was some sort of American Virginia. Oh, incidentally, I'm smoking a Peterson 2015 Christmas pipe, which is a nice little thing, and I'm smoking some Mississippi Mud. Yeah, so I started smoking some aromatics, and they were hot. They gave me tongue bite, but I stuck with it. And over the years, I learned more about tobaccos, more about pipes, through talking to other pipe smokers, and eventually, with the internet and the UG pipe community, getting some good tobacco recommendations and just trying it out and buying lots of different tobacco and seeing what I liked and what I didn't like. But I'd like to give you some advice for the first time pipe smokers, on what I think is a good way to start. And I would choose something like Dunhill Early Morning Pipe or Samuel Garrett's Squadron Leader. These aren't massively strong. I think they both taste good, and I think they're a good tobacco to kind of get you into the groove of what pipe smoking is about, what it the sort of subtle nuances. See how you get on with something like that. At that point, you'll be blown into a massive minefield of lots of different blends that can exist, your Burleys, your Englishes, your Virginias, your mixing tobaccos, the heavy Latakirs, Periques, Orientals, Cavendishes, Balkans, and it's overwhelming if you try and jump in at all of those at once. And the other thing is, how do you know which things you like and which things you don't like? You can buy lots of pipe tobaccos that contain a whole mixture of some of those, and you might go, oh, this is a really nice pipe tobacco. And you buy another tobacco that's got some of those ingredients in, and you think, oh, no, I don't like this. How do you distinguish? And my advice would be this: once you've kind of got into the groove with, like I said, something like Dunhill Early Morning Pipe. It's not the best tobacco in the world, but it's, I think it's a good starting spot. Then go to the extremes, which is something I haven't really heard anybody suggest. I think it's a good idea. I might be wrong. I've been wrong before. But I would choose something, let's say, really heavy Latakir. There's loads of pipe smokers who like a small amount of Latakir in something, but don't like really strong Latakir blends. If you get something like this, which is the Conan Deal's Pirate Cake, that's a really leathery, strong, dark Latakir blend. It might put you off at first, and then you might go back to it later once you've kind of got a feel for the whole thing. But you might like it right off the bat, and if you do, you know the style of tobacco straight away that you're going to be more drawn towards. If you don't like a really strong lacquer blend, then go to the other end of the spectrum. Go with a pure Virginia. Sam Gowis Full Virginia Flex, a good place to start. My go-to Virginia is all at Golden Slice. Comes in a square tin. Or a round tin, depending on where you buy it from. Or obviously you can get them in your big tubs. Obviously they're flake tobaccos. It's a different style of tobacco. It's different. It looks different. You pack your pipe with it differently. But then you'll get a really good idea of how you feel about those sort of pure Virginias. And it's a real good counterbalance to something like a heavy latakia. And then try something, an English with some like strong Orientals. That's another kind of road you can go down. My advice for that would be something like Rattrade's Red Rappery. This is another one of my favourites. I've been smoking that for a long time. And it's a good way, again, that's a good way to get your feel for Englishes, and it's got a strong Oriental kick to that. I think what puts people off smoking things like that is if you're not used to the smell of tobaccos. If you smell some like really nice food, like some freshly baked bread or something, the smell is something you want to put in your mouth. It's like a nice, tasty smell. And I think people who haven't, I think it's probably why people go for aromatics. You smell a cherry aromatic, you smell a vanilla aromatic, and those things smell nice. They smell like something you want to eat. And Red Rappery is not something you want to eat. But don't be put off by that initial smell, because it's not that taste that you get from that smoke. It's the smoke. It's the smoke flavored by that tastes nice. People will like certain perfumes or colognes, aftershaves, or whatever. They like the smell of them, not because they're gonna eat them. If you've ever accidentally got some deodorant in your mouth, it's the worst thing ever. But you like the smell, and it's kind of understanding that idea of these flavors make an overall flavor that might not smell like something you want to chew on, but it is something you want to smoke. And don't be put off by that initial lifting the lid off and smelling it and going, I don't know, it smells like potpourri or something, I don't want to smoke this. Once you light it, once you get used to it, you'll realise that those smells are good smells. That's what you want from a tobacco. Another style of tobacco you might want to go for is the Balkan. I'm a big fan of that too. My favourite being Macallan's Frogmorton on the Bayou. That's a good Balkan to kind of get a grip with, see if you like that style of flavour. Cavendish is another thing. You'll usually find that mixed with lots of other stuff. There's not a lot of people I know smoke just pure Cavendish. Samuel Garrett's Sweet Black Cavendish is a good way. Again, most people use that as a mixing tobacco, but you could smoke that straight and you get a good idea for whether that's a general flavour you really like or not. You tend to find, I'm not a massive Black Cavendish fan. I like it. It's not something I'd ever smoke straight, but you mix it with some Virginias, like you get in the Danish pipe shop Sam Gowis brown sugar flake, and it's just the best thing ever. Where else can you go? Perique is another strong flavouring. A good strong Perique tobacco, again, is Bio Morning from Connell and Deal. Smoke that. If you like that, you like Perique. Like I said, you can smoke some of these things and it could be overpowering. It doesn't necessarily mean you wouldn't like that flavouring mixed with some other stuff, but it's a good way of finding out where you sit on the scale of pipe tobaccos you really, really like. So that would be my advice. Get yourself a corn cob. Start with something like I say, the Squadron Leader or Early Morning Pipe. There's lots of different sort of more gentle tobaccos you can start with as well. They're all good. And then have a bit of a mix, but see where you fall on that spectrum. I mean, if you picked up a pipe for the very first time and you smoked Mississippi Mud like I'm smoking right now, it'd kind of be like if the first alcohol you ever drank was a 12-year-old Scotch whiskey. If you'd never experienced alcohol before, you drink that and go, bah, like I did when I was 15, 16 years old. Whiskey's my favourite drink on earth, and you grow to understand and like those more complex flavors. It's not, you wouldn't go, hey, you want to become an alcoholic? Well, maybe you would start drinking this. People start drinking beers and wines and things like that, and over time, shitty, sugary alco pops or whatever else. But over time, you find your groove in what you like and the types of flavors you like. And it's exactly the same with pipe tobacco. The big misconception, I think, with a lot of people starting to smoke pipes, and I had it, because my grandpa only ever smoked Gold Block. I assumed you picked a pipe tobacco and that's what you went for. Same way you do with cigarettes. You have a brand of cigarettes you like and that's what you smoke. Pipe tobacco is really not like that. You'll find once you really get into it, there are types of tobaccos you'll smoke in the morning, in the evening. Some days you'll feel like one thing, some days you'll feel like another. And that's the great thing. There are so many pipe tobaccos and you can smoke all of them. And you should try all of them. But I think what I've said is a good way to find out where you fit in the sort of things you like. And then you can start looking at blends that contain all those things together. So yeah, that's my thoughts for the day. Happy smokes, everybody.